Coalition building is an incremental process, and nearly unheard of from people called populists. Mr. Trump gave those of us who have cried defiance of the status quo a champion. Conspiracy theorists remind us that these government takeovers happen incrementally because too much at once would be culture shock. Then turn their own logic on its head by needing the perfect messenger, say a Ron Paul or Gary Johnson, with the divine inspiration of libertarianism, descend from the heavens on a winged horse named Bastiat. And for all the world it will be rejoicing.
Yay!
Yeah, that's great and all in a perfect world, but this ain't that. If you want to take back your government, it will be the rise of the citizen legislators as opposed to professional politicians that do it. You can't get your dream guy or girl in there and just expect the wheels of Congress to provide the wind beneath their wings. It's infantile and as much a fantasy as the Democrats' unicorn and rainbow. If libertarians want to be a real part of the process, now is the time. Voting the Buds and Suds ticket of Johnson Weld will make you feel politically smug while accomplishing the means of your own demise. If Hillary picks the next Supreme Court justice to replace Scalia, what do you think will happen to the Second Amendment? Then, to add salt to the wound, what would a Citizens United overturned and the Fairness Doctrine returned do to stunt your growth in the current political paradigm? If you are a constitutionalist, have you looked around at your fellow libertarians? These three are okay with breaches of the Fourth Amendment in NSA spying. Others are okay with illegal immigration, which squared equals more government in the form of welfare and other federal programs for their family. Many will claim to believe in states' rights, but advocate federal crony trade to favor certain states over others by geographic desirability and niches like racial quotas in business. These allow higher access to compliant states and companies in trade deals. That's not a good steward of commerce. It's being a conglomerate groupie. These days, many prefer some variation of influenced by Austrian economics or inspired by Bastiat to describe themselves, discarding the libertarian brand as co-opted and confused. A Big Ten is fine, but not if most of it goes against your core beliefs. Then you become the quantum physics proton in an atom, not noticed until measured and all over the place when not. As long as you remain outside the two-party system, you will be marginalized more and more with each election. You don't have to merge, but mingling is how business gets done in government as well as the private sector. If you don't build coalitions with more traditional parties, you're missing the chance to bring people to you as they become disenfranchised from where you first met them. In turn, when you have a viable candidate, you can call in those favors, build further, and offer alternatives to Republicans that Tea Party types can live with, thus open voter trade through symbiotic goods and services in politics. That would be the best stewardship of money you invest to get like-minded people elected. That is a fiscal conservative. You'll never know if you don't make the effort to adapt to politics as they are and be engaged. The multi-party system in other countries only works because parties like Green can coalesce with Labor and maybe a Tory if the top issues are in line. What you're doing now is like sitting home on prom night in your tighty-whities waiting for the Queen to ask you to dance. It may not happen, but it most assuredly will not happen if you don't actually show up and mingle with the crowd. It's how you seduce political converts, and if not, at least you get to make your points in a dance of discussion. Or you can remain intractable and stagnate like soccer in the United States waiting for a professional audience. That's exactly where the NWO wins, in the isolationism.